love the maestro. Presidentes far and wide. I do not smoke cigarettes. But anyways, this is an HPAL guide for Wrath of the Trash King. I'm a 30-time rank 1 best Paladin to ever exist, best Paladin to ever play this game, best Paladin to ever walk this earth, savior of this world, and hero of these lands. And I have come back to you now to turn the tides of fate and show you what you should be running as gear, glyphs, and talents as the highest rated and best HPAL in the entire game. Did I mention 30-time rank 1? Now let me move this so you guys can see a little bit better. Big damn. Okay, so if we look at Talliance, let's look at Talliance first. So you're obviously going to want to go into Spiritual Focus. You could go into this, but you're not going to ever be using Seal of Righteousness, so you can't even use it. Makes your Judgment do extra damage if you're running Seal of Righteousness. But guess what? You're never going to be using Seal of Righteousness because you're always going to be using Seal of Wisdom or Seal of Light. Almost always Seal of Wisdom, because what matters most is you getting mana back so you can spam out some good old-fashioned heals. So now let's talk about your judgments. Your judgments, you're going to have Judgment of Light, Judgment of Wisdom, and Judgment of Justice. All three combinations of the unstoppable virtues of the Maestro. Wisdom, Justice, and the Light! So with these three judgments, you're going to do different things. Like, let's say DK is hitting you and his ghoul is hitting you. You can put Judgment of Wisdom to get every attack that your DK does, it has a chance to give you mana back. And then you can put Judgment of Light on the DK's pet. So every attack that the DK's pet does, it does healing. Chance on healing. And then, of course, the Judgment of Justice is to slow people like druids. If some soy milk drinking baby back piglet druid is squeamishly rolling away from you on his little Teletubby mount, then you can, of course, use this on him so he can't run fast, which is really good. Of course, they're all on 10-second cooldown, and they last for 20 seconds. So you can have two up at the same time. So you can maximize that. So you're always going to want Seal Wisdom. You're obviously going to want to be rebuffing all the time. So because you're going to be getting purged all the time, so you're going to be wanting to rebuff. Always using, when you start the arena, you're going to want to use Divine Plea. As soon as you Sacred Shield and Beacon, you're going to want to do that in the starting area. Then you're going to want to, because it doesn't cost any mana in the starting area, and you can use it, not like regular WoW where the buffs get taken off. So then you're going to want to Bestow Faith and Beacon up. It's called Sacred Shield now. And of course, when you flash heal your Sacred Shield target, you're going to get a Flash of Light buff that heals you for 12 seconds. Every 2 seconds, which is really good. So whatever guy you have Sacred Shield on, it's going to do a lot of healing. So also, Beacon costs a lot of mana in Arena, so you want to be really selective with who you Beacon. Just like the Maestro is really selective with what Vixiones he has sex with, or more commonly known as They All Ignore Me. But that's for the first talent. Obviously, you're going to want 3 on this because your Holy Shock and Flash of Light are the things you use all the time. You're going to want that. 3 in this because you don't end up having enough talent points to put in 5. 2 in this because obviously you're going to want for PvP Fear and Disorient effects. That works on Blind, which is so insanely good. So 30% reduced on Blind, so you might not have to trick it Blind as a Pally. We'll see. You're obviously going to want 1 on Aura Mastery because you need Concentration Aura. I don't always use Concentration Aura because I outplay them, but a lot of the times Concentration Aura is really good because with Concentration Aura, with this improved Concentration Aura talent, it makes it so I have no pushback. So if I do use Concentration Aura, I have no pushback on anything. I can cast Turn Evil on a DK pet for free without getting any pushback. But the problem is I do sometimes try to use Shadow Resistance Aura versus DKs, which kind of is questionable just because of the pushback. But it could be better overall depending on what you're fighting. Like, see, you're fighting like a Disc Priest with Shadow Word Pain and Devouring Plague on top of the DK. Shadow Resistance Aura might be better, especially if you're not getting... Stop gifting me subs! We donate around here, Beaumont! I curse you, Beaumont! I curse you into the abyss! But you know you have to triple it up now. Every sub that you gift, you automatically owe me triple the amount. So now you owe me 125. That's 25. You owe me $75, buddy. Fucking legendary. Oh, I swore, damn it. Damn. Oh, okay. So next thing, yeah. So swapping auras. Obviously, if you're fighting an Ellie and a Destro, you're going to want Fire Resistance Aura or Concentration Aura. A lot of bad Pallies are never going to swap their auras because they're Terrabads who have no idea what they're doing. And if you're fighting melee, you might want concentration aura, a devotion aura, or retribution aura, depending on what's happening. Let's say the DK, or let's say a warrior is on your warrior. You're not going to want concentration aura. It doesn't do anything. So you're going to want to swap the devotion aura because you get an extra 2% damage reduction with your devotion aura. It grants about 2% damage. I curse you, Beaumont! It gives you an extra about 2% damage reduction. Let's see. Yeah, 2% damage reduction. Yeah, but almost 2% damage reduction with that armor to physical attacks. So that's like an extra 2% that you can get for free by just maximizing your aura. Beaumont, now you owe me $150 legendary. Buddy, Twitch takes my sub money. Donate, Beaumont! You little Rodiante. So next thing you're going to want to go into, obviously Illumination, because you're going to want to get Divine Fave and Holy Shock. And of course Aura Mastery. So if you do Aura Master with Concentration Aura up, you get immune to all kicks. So, and you can also swap your aura, so you get double Shadow Resistance aura, double whatever aura. And then you're going to go in, obviously, 5 points into Holy Power, because you want as much Holy critical strike chance as you can, because obviously Pallies are all off crits. When you Holy Shock and get a crit, you get an instant cast Flash Heal. So when you get an instant cast Flash Heal, you obviously get free healing, and it's so good, you get to run while healing. And you can obviously use it on your Sacred Shield target for extra healing. And all your holy spells have an extra chance to crit. Blessed Life is really good, but maybe you could take it out of this and put it in a different talent depending on what you're fighting or what. But that's a really good 10% chance for attacks to cost half damage, so a cast bolt could get reflected back onto some Garbo Chanabat or something like that. And obviously, you're going to want to take Holy Shock because that's your main heal. I take Sacred Cleansing. Sacred Cleansing is really good because I play the Cleansing Glyph. We'll look at it. That makes my mana reduction of my cleanse by 20%, so I can spam cleanse. Keep my wisdom up, of course. Keep my divine plea up. And, of course, try to run some healing trinkets. We'll look at gear a little bit later. So you're going to want to spam that. And usually you're only going to cleanse up until you get this glyph. It depends what you're fighting. Sometimes I spam cleanse everything. But every time you cleanse, it has this 30% chance to increase your resistance to poison and pathogen by 30%. So I usually just get this thing up and then I don't cleanse anymore depending on what I'm doing, or I cleanse everything. It depends on what I'm doing. But I put 5 into Holy Guidance because on your intellect, obviously you're going to be stacking intellect and spell pow. So obviously spell pow is a little bit better for arena for extra healing, but intellect's really good too. And increases your spell pow. And really 3%. Every one of these points on Blessed Life is only 3%. So it's kind of not that good. So you could like switch that talent off maybe. Obviously Divine Illumination for you're going to want to use that. Let's say a warrior. So you're going to want to use your Holy Pally cooldowns, which is a Divine Illumination and Weang's. And obviously Weang's now has Forbearance on it. So if you use Weang's right now, so if I use Weang's, I can't use Forbearance. I can't use anything. I can't bubble, I can't bop, I can't Divine Protection. So you gotta be really careful of that. And make sure you don't wings and then not be able to bubble. And of course the Maestro loves to go in and wings. So it sucks. It's so annoying that you can't use wings still this expansion. So you got to be really careful, know when to use wings, because you won't be able to. Now after 30 seconds you can use Divine Shield. Obviously you have Divine Protection too, which if you don't have Divine Shield anymore, so if you bubble here, 2 minutes and then you can use Divine Protection, which is pretty good. So you could maybe save bop, use bubble on yourself, save bop for your teammate, and use Divine Protection on yourself. So that's something good you can do. And then of course you're going to want to have cancel macros. So obviously I have cancel or a bop macro, and then a cancel or a bubble and freedom macro. Because bubble makes you do less dam. So I made sure to have cancel or freedom. Obviously you don't want your freedom to get stolen at certain times. And then cancel or a free Divine Protection. Hand of Protection, which is bop and Divine Shield. So my cancel or bop is 9, and then my cancel or Divine Protection is 8. I don't think you need a cancel or oh, that's Divine Plea. Okay, yeah, Divine Plea. Because if you use Divine Plea, and you want to holy shit, let's say you're at 20% health, but you're at 20% mana, 20% health. You need like one more tick of Divine Plea, and then you can Holy Shock, cancel Divine Plea, Holy Shock, and then it'll do full healing because Divine Plea reduces your healing by 50%. So you're gonna need that macro. Infusion of Light, obviously, because when you Holy Shock and get a crit, you get to instant cast Flash Heal. This is really good because you're gonna want to be using it increases your Judgment chance. I mean, it increases your Judgment yardage, so you're going to be able to do it from, like, where a mage can cast Frostbolt. You're going to be able to Big Damn Judge him and root him out with one Big Damn Judge, smite him down instantly. And then, of course, you're going to want Beakion. And even though it's really not that good, and maybe if you... I don't know, the Glyphs are really weird. So those are the Holy Talents, and you're going to want to go into the Protection Tree. Obviously, 5% more healing, so good. There's going to be 10% more healing on yourself, which is insane. You're going to want 2 minutes left on less on Bop, and 4 seconds left on Freedom, because Freedom is insanely good. And like I said, when you're fighting, let's say you're fighting a warrior, your Sharpen is about to end, and you get hamstringed. You Freedom yourself around the pillar, he can't resharpen you, and then you Holy Shock yourself to full. That's how you do that. And you can like Hodge him right in the corner of the pillar so he can't get his Mortal Strike back up. But good warriors will be way harder to do that. Improved Righteous Fury. If you have Righteous Fury, that's an extra buff, so you're going to want to keep that on anyway. And if you go into Improved Righteous Fury, you're going to get 6% reduced damage taken. That's so insanely good. You're going to want to go into Divine Sacrifice, and then, of course, Divine Guardian, because Divine Sacrifice makes it so you have another sack. And now, of course, if you want to use Divine Sacrifice and Hand of Sacrifice at the same time, you have to use Hand of Sacrifice first before you Divine Sacrifice. If you use Divine Sacrifice with Hand of Sacrifice, if you use Hand of Sacrifice first, then Divine Sacrifice, you're going to get 80% damage reduction all together for 6 seconds, and then on the target. So let's say my teammate is in trouble. I sack him first, then I use Divine Sacrifice. That's 80% damage reduction on him. But if I use Divine Sacrifice on myself, it's only 20% damage reduction because with the Divine Guardian. So this only reduces my teammate's damage, and then this only reduces your damage taken by 20%. All damage taken by party members. Yeah. Because with this talent, so it will go 20%. 20. It doesn't let me do it unless I'm in a group. I guess the game's awful. You can put in Toughness is obviously the best because you want the most armor. You could go Anticipation, but I don't think that's better. And you could, like I said, you could go into Improved Hammer of Justice. There's different talents you could take instead of like Blessed Life, maybe, or Holy Guidance, or Divine Intellect, which probably would be better versus in 2v2 arenas because having your Hammer of Just on a 40-second cooldown and instead of a minute to get their trinkets and win the game is pretty important. So I might have to respec. And then the Glyphs, so you're going to want to go different things depending on if you're fighting in 3v3 or 2v2. And different gear too. In the Glyphs I use, obviously you want the reduced cooldown of Holy Shock because you're going to be using Holy Shock the entire time. A lot of the times you're not going to be able to cast and you're going to be wanting to use all Holy Shock healing. Seal of Wisdom, I think, is better than Seal of Light in almost every situation. Some 3 games and a lot of 3 games will probably go a long time, so you're going to want Seal of Wisdom up. And you're always going to want to be... The only time Seal of Light is better is in a quick 2v2 game where you're going to need to put out maybe a versus like Rogue Mage. Otherwise, Seal of Wisdom is going to be better because you're going to be wanting to play elongated games as HPAL. And of course, you can change these out too. You can maybe run the Beacon Glyph in 3s, but... A lot of the times you're just not going to be able to afford to put mana into Beacon because Beacon is just so much mana. Beacon is like 10-15% of your mana, depending on your gear. And the 20% mana glyph I think is better than the other one you could take is the Beacon Glyph, which increases your Beacon by 30 seconds. It's a minute now, so you get a minute and 30 seconds, which is pretty insane. But at the same time, I don't think it's better than these glyphs here. And then there's another glyph that's increased Holy Shock by 5%. You could use that. I don't think it's better than these glyphs, though. And depending on what you're running, 3v3 or 2v2, you're going to be wanting to run these trinkets. So, obviously, I ended up getting this Spirit Trinket today. This increases my mana regen by 42 off the bat. And then if I use it, it's going to increase my mana regen by a crazy amount. Let's see. It'll increase my mana regen by 151. So I get that trinket proc. I get my other trinket proc. Now I just tripled my mana regen. So I just tripled my mana regen, or doubled my mana regen with these 2 trinkets. And obviously Pally's going to revolve around all mana if a Disc Priest is trying to mana burn you, or Locke is trying to drain mana you. And obviously I don't have the best gear, so obviously you're going to want all deadly gear. Besides, maybe for one ring, you can change out the Hateful Ring for something with mana regen, like a good mana regen ring, like, I have 2 good ones. Yeah, this one has crit. I probably would replace this one for this one, the Hateful. Once I have full gear, I'll probably replace this ring. And maybe you could replace the necklace too, if you have a really good mana regen necklace. Otherwise, you're going to want all deadly gear. The deadly boots are better than the Titan Forge boots because they come with the 21 mana regen on them. And obviously, I'm going to be getting a new glyph today. That's the 331 flash heal, which is really good. And I'm going to go all Resil gems because I'm going to be, like I said, I'm going to be using probably the ring, a good neck piece if I get it, a good weapon, hopefully the 25-man Nax weapon, and the 2 trinkets. So I'll only end up having probably like 1,000 Resil. I'm going to put the Resilience enchant on there, Resilience enchant on here. Still have, and of course, Resilience enchant on my headpiece. Actually, maybe I'll still keep the 30 spell power, 20 crit, because that's really good for Pally. So we'll see if I put the Resilience on there. And of course, the professions you're going to want to go is engineering, and you could go blacksmithing too. I'm going to go engineering because you're going to be able to put haste on your gloves. It's a 1-minute CD on the haste. So it's 340 haste that you can use on a 1-minute CD. So you can pair this with your other trinkets if you have other trinkets, or with your wings, and have insane haste with your wings, so that you can never, so you can fake cast spells or be mana efficient and whatever. You get 24 crit to boots, but I don't think that's better than minor increased movement speed, because you need that minor increased movement speed. You need the my sprint, to sprint around a tree and dodge a tree, or dodge some oaf warrior that's running at you. So I think the minor increased movement speed is a little bit better than the 24 crit. And then, of course, you can put 27 spell power on your back, which I think is better than 23 haste. It's definitely better. So engineering is the best, but you could go blacksmithing and get 2 extra sockets, which is really good too. And obviously you're going to want jewel crafting to put in the 34 resilience, which is absolutely insane. Right now with like 9 pieces of blue gear on, I'm already at 700 resil. So with all my gear, I should at least have over 1,000 resil. And then the maestro will literally be unkillable, and I'll literally farm everyone into the ground like an absolute hero, which I already do anyway. And that concludes the best Paladin gains HPAL guide. Of course, Beaumont, you are cursed into the absolute abyss of the oblivion and Mount St. Helena. And the Maestro is the best Paladin in the entire game. I always have been, and I always will be. Donate to the Maestro for a better life.